everyone, it's Julianne here for Honeybee Stamps and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created some last minute table decorations to have on my Thanksgiving table this year. In order to create these last minute table cards, I used the Hello Fall stamp set for that beautiful sentiment, as well as the Hello Fall stencil set to do some easy ink blending using some Distress Oxide inks. Now to start out, I'm going to be trimming down some cream colored cardstock to create my cards. Any cardstock that you have will work for this if you decide to recreate these. This is just what I had on hand, and I really felt that the cream cardstock would look really well with those ink colors that I've chosen. Now for my table cards, I decided to go with 4x4 cards, so I'm going to be trimming each of those down using my paper trimmer. Once I have enough, I'm then going to pull out my scoreboard, and I'm going to be scoring those in half at the 2-inch mark. Now at this point, I'm just going to be creating my score line. I'm not going to be reinforcing that line until I have done my ink blending. So once I get those last couple cards all scored, I'm then going to move on to my ink blending. Now to start out, I'm going to be using mustard seed, abandoned coral, and dried marigold. I really love these colors together, and I thought that they would be perfect for Thanksgiving. So now that I have each one of those cards all scored, I'm going to be adding one of them down to my work surface. And in order to hold it in place, as well as protect what will be the back of that card, I'm just going to apply some washi tape. And then I'm going to be taking that Hello Fall stencil, and I'm going to start my ink blending using those Distress Oxide inks. My three main colors for each one of my table cards today are going to be the colors that I mentioned earlier, which are mustard seed, abandoned coral, and finally that dried marigold. Now later on I will add in some additional colors to show you that you can add as many colors as you'd like. I just wanted to honestly show you that you don't need many colors in order to create these fun and easy table cards. Just pick your favorite color combination and have some fun with it. So now the Hello Fall stencil has a bunch of different leaves that you can use for this, but I'm just going to stick with 4 of them for my cards today. I really liked the shape and size of all of those, so I'm just going to position that stencil on top of that card, and I'm going to add those colors of inks. Now for some of the leaves, I might just do mustard seed with dried marigold. Another one, I'll do abandoned coral with that mustard seed, and then I might just do one with just mustard seed. There really isn't a wrong way to ink blend these, because just like in nature, when the leaves are naturally changing colors, they're going to have a variety of different colors in them. So really just go for it and have fun. So I'm just going to continue to move that stencil around and ink blend until I have the majority of each one of my cards covered. So here are a few of the cards that I've done with just those 3 main Distress Oxide inks. You can see that for some of them, I just used the maple leaves, and for one of the cards, I actually only used mustard seed. I really just think that these are so fun, and you really could make each one of these different like I have by either changing up the colors that you use or by changing up which leaves that you have on there, or you can do them all the same as well. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm now going to add in a few additional colors. I'm going to be using tea dye as well as some Mowed lawn. And again, I'm just going to position that stencil on top of my card, and I'm going to be ink blending each one of those leaves using a variety of each of those colors until I have all of my cards covered. I really do love how the Mowed lawn looks. I think that some of my favorite cards from today actually include that color on them. Now, if you don't have any brown inks, you can definitely end up just ink blending that red and green together, and that will give you a brown shade in there as well that will also look really pretty. So once I've finished with all of my ink blending, I'm now going to start working on stamping out my sentiment. And this sentiment does come from the Hello Fall stamp set. I absolutely love it, and I thought it was perfect to have on the front of my cards. So I'm just going to place one of those cards inside of my MISTI, and I'm going to be stamping the sentiment onto each one of them using some espresso ink from Pink Fresh Studio. Once I get that first card stamped out, I'm then just going to remove that and add in the next one, and I'll continue stamping that sentiment onto each one of my cards. Now, if you wanted to step up your cards, you could definitely heat emboss your sentiment, maybe using some gold embossing powder. I think that would be super pretty as well. So once I have all of my sentiments all stamped out, all I need to do to finish off these cards is to come back in and reinforce those score lines that I created earlier. And to do that, I'm going to be reinforcing them using my bone folder. And once I get those last couple all done, that's going to complete my quick and easy last-minute Thanksgiving table decorations. I really love how these came out, and I can't wait to add them to my table. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe for even more card making ideas. If you're interested in any of the supplies I used today, they will all be listed and linked down below in the description box. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time, and happy crafting!